Welcome to the Alcatel-Lucent 1353 Network Management Server Training Video Presentation Part 3. In the previous videos, we talked about how to manage the windows under the TVA main menu. We also talked about how to manage the views in the view area. I want us to talk about the symbol management. For instance, if we need to create a child view under this parent view, which is the root view, just like these other clusters, we navigate through the edit menu, create child view, and the child view creation dialog box opens up. Let's input the name, let's say DHR3543, and let us select the symbol site and click apply. Then you close. You notice that this child view has been created here and it is listed underneath the root view, but it is empty because it has not been populated. Let us add a connection. Let's say under the root view, the root view, we want to add a connection. Let's say we have a connection between these two NEs. We select the extremities and we navigate with the path edit, add connection. The graphic connection creation dialog box opens up, showing you connection between the two extremities. You click on the type option box to select the type of connection that you want to create, either logical, bundle, control, electric, fiber, group link, radio. Let's say electric, okay, or fiber. Let's say fiber. Just select fiber. Then user label, input the type of the user label. You just say fiber connection, okay, and click apply button and close. And you now see the fiber link created. This fiber link that you have created is not supervised like the N is. It's only a symbol to represent the link between the two network elements. You can add a symbol to this current view by navigating with the menu path, edit, add symbol. The dialog box opens up. Click on the type option button. You have different symbols that you can select from: building, city, internet shortcut, logical, off page connector, region, room. Let's select site. Input the user label field. In the user label field, type the name of the symbol. Let's say Sienna, and click apply. You close. You notice that the symbol is created, but this TVA object is not managed by the client application. it's just a symbol to represent the NE. Let's say, for instance, you have a phone site, and this particular, let's say this is a phone site, and this is the gateway NE connected to the phone site. You can just create another connection by selecting the two extremities, add connection. Let's say it's an electric interface between both of them. Let's say TMN Ethernet interface. You click apply, close. Okay, so these two symbols are not managed by the client application. It's just a representation of the connectivity. We can also improve the view of the network elements within a current view, like this, by clicking on the layout network. It kind of arranges the network elements within the current view. Let's apply it on this network. Edit, layout, network. It arranges the network elements in an organized layout. We can prevent movement of NEs within the Cartesian view by activating the frozen mode, and you discover that you cannot move any of these network elements because they are in the freeze mode. You can deactivate it by unchecking the frozen mode, then the network elements will be unfrozen. You can use the select all button to select all symbols on the current view. Notice that all the symbols on this view has been selected. You could perform some other functions. To select more than one, you hold down the shift button and click on each of the symbols that you need to select, and all these symbols will be selected. And you can delete if you want. After confirmation, you will delete the symbols from this view. Okay, if these symbols exist in other views, they will still be in the other view, but this would only delete the symbol from this view. When any network element is selected within a particular cluster or child view, you discover that the black rectangle is seen by the side of the child view. Let's say, for instance, if you select, you notice the black arrow changed. You notice the black rectangle shifted to 3150. Let's select one here. You notice it now shifted to 3142. If you have a particular symbol that exists in more than one child view, let's say for instance 2624, if you click on this symbol, you notice that the black rectangles appears on all the child view containing this symbol, this network element. If you click on each of them, you discover that 2624 is selected. And if you delete, let's say you delete 2624, from not all views now. Let's say you delete from this view. Okay, you find out that when you click on 3004 it is still there, and on 3142 it's still there. You can also delete it from this view. And it still exists in 3142. If you had selected the option delete from all views, it will practically delete 2624 network elements from the TVA completely. Talked about the go menu before. It's used to navigate through the TVA. You can automatically navigate to the map, to the road view. You can also go backward. There's the previous view from, you can view the previous. You can also view the forward, and also we talked about related view. You can navigate to the related view and back to the root view. We've talked about the TVA functionalities. Now we need to talk more about the PNM functionalities. The Physical Network Manager, PNM, is a component that helps to integrate the EML, Element Management Layer subsystems. It allows the integrated management of various kinds of network elements, which are already individually managed by their own EML subsystems. You have the operations menu. From here you can perform generic and specific operations on one or several NEs by coordinating the activities of various EML subsystems. Let's say, for instance, we need to get the information about this NE. We click on the information and the PNM information menu pops up, window pops up, and it gives us information about the family, the type, the release, the user label, location name, supervision area, EML domain, ACD, and comments. We'll talk more about this later in this training. If the SNCP event log is enabled, you can display all event logs on this particular NE. Okay, for now we need to talk about the access state of the NE. Access state allows us to switch between OS and local. Okay, for this case, if we need to switch to local, you click on the local and the local access dialog box is active, and you click on apply. This in progress. Windows tells you and success, and it turns green, telling you now that this NE can now be managed locally by a craft terminal connected. If you see on top also, you discovered that the local status here is OK, telling you that this NE can be managed with a craft terminal locally connected. If you need to switch the state back to OS, you click on OS and apply. In progress. And success. So if you take a note now, you discover that the OK sign is disappeared, telling you that it is now managed by the OS. Whenever a craft terminal requests for local access, the access status changes to requested, and you can grant the local access from the PNM by selecting requested and apply. If you need to reject that request, you click on requested to OS. Currently there are no requested available, so it will give you that response. But if you had an active request, you can deny local access using that function. You can consult the NE management status by clicking on the show status. It gives you a read-only dialog box, and you have the alarm showing you the current status of the alarm, which is cleared. Depending on the alarm status, you have also the supervision, different states of the supervision: declared, deactivating, activating, and supervised. You have the alignment, each of the different states of alignment. You have the communication, either disabled or enabled. You have the local access, granted, requested, or denied. And you have the graded. You notice that the administrative, usage, and operational states are graded out, which indicates that they are undefined, unconfigured, so you cannot get information about this. You can manage the NE MIB using this contextual menu. You can align upwards, global align downwards, manual align downwards. You can compare, and you can dump the MIB. You can manage the NE time. If you need to get the time of this NE, you click on get. The time management dialog box pops up, waiting to trigger. You select apply, you click on apply, and it returns the time of the NE, the date and the time on this NE. If you need to synchronize the time of the NE with the time of the OS, you click on set, and apply. It sets the NE time with that of the OS. You can also perform some administrative management on the NE by lock. You can lock and unlock. Okay, so you can manage the supervision of the NE using this contextual menu. You can click on stop supervision, and waiting to trigger, you apply. In progress, it tries to stop the supervision of this NE, and you see the status, the color changes. Now you see it's done, success, and the color is brown. Okay, now we need to start the supervision of this NE. You go back to supervision. If you want to start it by the default, it will start with the configured preset value, or you can start with align up to align the OS with the NE at the end of start supervision, or you can align down to align the NE configuration with the OS at the end of start supervision, or you can select enhanced align down to align the NE configuration with the last OS at the end of start supervision. You can audit to compare the NE configuration with the image of the OS during the start supervision. You can finally select no align. This will start the supervision without alignment. You click apply, and success, and the NE supervision status is restored. You can set the access control domain by clicking that. You can synchronize the NE. Synchronization successful. You can upload the remote inventory, and you can display the remote inventory. You can perform a ping test on this NE to determine the reachability. To return the result of the ping test. If it's green, it means the ping test is successful. If it's red, it means it's unsuccessful. You can close the tab, and You can also use the remote inventory wizard to extract the remote inventory of the specified network element. The physical network manager (PNM) maintains and presents common information about the NEs managed in a TMN environment in form of a directory via the GUI interface. You can have access to this directory through the menu path NE inventory global. If you need to get a complete list of all the NEs managed by the PNM, if you check the total count at the bottom, 2,483, or you can select the map, which gives you a list of all the NEs in the current map. If you check at the bottom, the total count is now 270. You can maximize the view. On the left, you find the view area, which the map tree, which gives you a list of the main map and the sub maps. On the right, you have a table which has different columns consisting of the name, that is the name of the NE, the type of the NE, the release, then you have alarm, the current alarm on the NE, the operational status, which is undefined. You have the supervision, depending on the current supervision status, showing you have the alignment, which is the current alignment status of the network elements, the administrative state, which is currently undefined. You have the access, local access, which is either granted or denied depending on the local access state. Then if you scroll further, you have the usage, you have the location. This location actually represents the clusters. You have the area, these are management settings, the area, the AML, the creation date, the communication, external text, the access control domain. Click on the map complement. This provides you a list of NEs that are supervised via the PNM, but that are not included in the current map. You see the total count is 2213. To filter, let us search for NE from this inventory. Okay, we click on the inventory menu and contents filter. It opens the NE global inventory filter dialog box. We can search based on two attributes, either static attributes or dynamic attributes. On the static attributes, you can select the filter based on different types, NE types. Either you can select MPR or MPRE, or you can even select MXC, and you can select the release type, version 1.1. You can select just any, or you can just select by the user label, type in star 2323 star. That means it's going to search for anything that has 2323 in between. You click on the apply, and it will show you, it returns the value on the global inventory tab window. You see, this is it here. You can, let's say you want to search for another NE 3603. You click on apply. It gives you the NE here. Okay, and you can try to locate this NE on the map by clicking on the inventory and select on map. So it gives you the particular NE you queried. Or you can also use the option of the location name. The location name actually is the cluster name. So you can just, if you want to know all the NEs that are in a particular cluster, let's say in 2084 star, you click apply. Is okay, let's say 3601. 3602. Okay, fine. In 3602, what you see, all these NEs are having the location name as 3602. That means they are all under the cluster 3602. If you scroll here and check for the location name, you discover that all the NEs you have their location name as 3602. You can also use the supervision area to filter based on the OSI LAN, on LAN 0 or LAN 1, LAN 2, 3, 4 or 5, or you can use filter by the EML domain or the access control domain. When you're done, you click the close button. Oh no, we can filter by the dynamic attributes. You can filter with the alarm. Maybe you want a critical alarm, major alarm. You click apply. It returns all, searches the map for all alarms that have with the alarm status critical and major. If you see under the alarm tab, you have alarms that are critical and major. Okay, or the supervision status as supervised. If you click apply, it gives you all the NEs with their supervision status supervised. Or you can use filter by alignment or by communication disabled. Apply. Give you all NEs with their communication state disabled. Okay, or you can filter by administrative, locked, granted, or local access or usage. So depending on what you want, you can. It has an extensive filter option. You can also reset the filter. It automatically highlights everything. You can reset the filter here also to everything will be any. Okay. It gives you a wide range of options. You can maximize this window. You can click on inventory and select different layouts. Now it's classified based on the OSI LANs. Classification now is based on the LANs, and you can expand or collapse using this. You can also choose another layout, maybe network topology. Its classification is based on clusters, so you can easily navigate through as you wish. You can also populate a particular NE. For instance, if you need to populate this NE, you select the NE and populate. The population input, you set the selected NE. If you need to populate the selected NE or all NEs, if you need to populate all NEs, then the population mode, either you want it to be OS topology, you want to put it on a particular LAN, or you want a network topology, which we put it in the whole network, or you need submap topology, which you can select probably a specific cluster you want to put it in. And the population option is no duplicate or hierarchy, and you click the apply button. It automatically populates this NE in this cluster that you have selected. can close this, and it returns back to the PVA main menu. Now let us talk about the declarations menu. From here we can create NE, we can create remote NE or sub NE. If you want to create an NE, you click on it and you have to impute select the family, the type, the release, and you impute the user label and the location name, which is the cluster. Then you can select the supervision area based on the LAN, the required LAN, and the EML domain based on the supervised area selected. Let's say you selected this, it now gives you a list of EML domain within this LAN. Okay, and this, we don't need to select the ACD, and when you're done you click the apply button. So this NE will be created in the cluster based on the location name selected. Delete. You can also delete the NE if you click generic. What it does is it's going to delete this NE from the client application, so this NE will no longer be available for supervision management. But first of all, in order for you to delete the NE, you need to stop supervision. This is the first thing to do before you can delete any NE. Okay, and before you can modify an NE, you also need to stop the supervision. You can set the NE address, which is the IP. We've done this before. You click on the set NE IP address, where you can impute the IP address of the NE. Wow, this was a very long video, and it happens to be the last video in this presentation. I hope you learned a lot from this marathon training. I look forward to seeing you in the next course. Thank you so very much for your time and patience. Have a nice day.